Okay, so this is a video I'm going to explain, hopefully in a short amount of time, the biggest lie you've ever been told in your whole life. Now, warning, this is going to be the most woo-woo video I've ever done. I usually try and shy away and don't do anything too woo-woo, but this time we're going on the woo-woo train the whole way. I'm going to attempt to explain in my 15 years of everything I've ever learned about humanity, spirituality, and all of the concepts that I wish I knew in a much more simple way. I'm going to oversimplify things so that you can just see the concept of what I'm talking about. And for those of you who are interested, you can go and study these things on your own. But this is not going to be an in-depth scientific way. This is more for people that might be feeling this but have no words and explanations on why they're feeling this way. I'm going to attempt to explain it right now. So here we go. I apologize for my drawings. They're probably at a grade 1, perhaps 2 level, but hopefully you get the point just as well. So here we go. This is the biggest lie. Here we have people. This is the earth, trees. This is the entire animal kingdom, of course, with this primitive drawing. And what you've been taught, what we've been taught as a society, is that you are a human. Okay. This is another human and another human, and you are separate from everything. That is a tree that is separate from you. That is the sun. That is the earth. All things I'm banging on a table, lamp, everything out there is separate. And you, as a human, bang around this material world, planet, and try to make a living for yourself, and that everybody else is doing the same thing. And there's limited resources, and you have to sort of fight and compete with everybody else and everything to get your piece of the action, if you will, here. And I'm sure some of you have heard that we're all one, and depending on what level you're at and what you're studying, I know for me, 15, 20 years ago, if you said we were all one, I'm like, what do you mean we're all one? Like, I'm here, you're there, everything is separate. It doesn't even, like, we're all one, let's take care of each other. But it never really made any sense. Like, how are we all one? And it was sort of like a kumbaya, utopian, let's hold hands and like sing together. I don't understand. And I'm going to go into the programming we've been through, but first let me introduce the idea of who you actually are. And this is what the powerful people in the world never ever want you to know. And they've been programming society for many, many decades, actually, if not thousands of years, to make sure you never know this information, okay? So here's how it works. In other videos, if you've seen them, you would have seen that I've introduced the concept that we're all energy. We're not just this flesh suit, right? So the tissues are made out of molecules, molecules are made out of cells, cells are made out of atoms, and then the atoms, if you look at the nucleus, the more you look into it in the nucleus, it's more energy and space, and basically you are made of 99.9999999% energy. So you, the body, is energy. Everybody else, all humans are energy. Trees, animals, the planet, the sun, everything is energy. And everything in between is energy. So we're more living in a cosmic soup. So that's one of the basic understandings. And here's where I'm going to draw where it starts to make a little bit more sense. This, how are we all one business? So if this is one person, you are energy connected to all energy in the universe. The next person is energy connected to all energy, all the universe. Now, some people can call this God, some people can call this the unified field, some people call this life force, like it doesn't matter, but you're an energy force yourself in an energy soup, in an energy ocean. So this person is also an energetic field, and this here is what you call God, life force, and all of that. So you're all connected. So even though you look separate, you're always connected to this field. Not only that, the trees and all vegetation and mountains and all of that, they're connected to this field. The sun is very energetic, is connected to this field. All animals in the animal kingdom, obviously, connected to this field. Okay? The planet is connected to this field. And when I say that they're all connected to this field and they're energetic, all of this, like I said, when we went from tissues, molecules, cells to atoms, this is all energetic fields. And on top of that, they're all conscious. So this is also a consciousness, like a one source. That's where you get the name source. It's all connected to the infinite source. It all has a consciousness now connected to that. The sun has a consciousness, all trees and all of nature, the planet, the galaxy that we're in, the Milky Way, and all galaxies are connected to consciousness. They're all one. So not only are we here all one, that's where we're connected and we're basically in this all energy soup. That's where you see that there's at an energetic level that we're all one. And what one does affects the other. Now, this consciousness, this unified field, or if you want to call it God, the energy behind that is actually love and unity. Love and unity is actually what we are made of. That's what is the energetic background to everything. And I know what you might be saying, well, that's impossible because we have, evil people, terrible people. We have people destroying the world. We have people killing each other. So what's that all about? Now, this is going to go into what I think. I think that this is the true nature of everybody, everything in the universe. And what can happen is everybody has access to this, but depending on your upbringing and how you've been programmed, you can squeeze out your connection to this. So I think you're born with it open. Babies and little kids have a very loving energy and they don't really have any enemies. They think that everything is great. Everybody's their friend. They can do anything. They're very much connected here. But where I think the connection maybe gets broken is that, so this is wide open when you're little and connected to that and you can feel it. As you get to, your parents that might say, why are you going to be an artist? There's no money in that. Don't do that. As you get into school, when you're really little, you're not smart. You don't have the right grades. You're comparing yourself to other people. And then this just gets more squeezed and gets smaller. Your connection gets smaller and smaller and smaller until some have almost no connection, or the ones that are doing awful things and are just in it for themselves pinch them off so enormously from the source of who they are. And then they're just back to banging around as flesh suits, as individual people, just trying to get more of their share. But in order for them to do that, they have to cut themselves off from this. So why is it that this is the biggest thing that you were born into and knew when you were little? But you were programmed from the very beginning to never know your power, to never know who you are. And further to this power is, it's not just that you're connected to it, you're a piece of it. Like you're a piece of the universe. The universe is inside you, or God is inside you, Source is inside you. And you're extremely powerful, way more powerful than the sources that are trying to control you. And this is why also religion had to cut this out. They had to make up rules that had to do with rules of worship, that everything had to go through priests and that only certain people were connected to here, and you had to listen to the rules. And as we're on to religions, also religions and society pitted people against each other and had the fear of another. But we won't go into too much of that religion, but basically society, government, and religion. So if you're in school, when you're brought up, it's coming at you from every direction that you're separate. All the ads and stuff that you see, and you're down to just this shell. That's why people are often looking for meaning in their life, because they don't feel connected to anything, and nothing makes any sense, because in your heart of hearts, you know who you are, but because it's been blocked, it feels so off, and you're always looking for meaning. You go to that job, you get to the end of the corporate ladder, you've done all the things, and it's empty. And this is why, because you were taught out of this. Also, for the programming was mostly in your mind. It was all learnt behavior, and a lot of fear was in place, and to make sure that you're separate, and also put into groups. So you have a different group here, a different religion here, and a different color here of people, different countries, and it's us versus them. And they had to further separate who everybody was from this country and all of that. And this was the major programming. And further to the programming, where you're not feeling good, is that the value of yourself, the value of this flesh suit, it's the flesh suit that you have all the energetic and you're all connected, but they don't want you to know that. So you're a flesh suit, and the value that you get, that you can brag to other people, is how much money you have, the position that you hold, what you drive, where you live, the neighborhood you're in, who you're seeing. And then you get engaged. Well, let me see the ring. Like, everything is value, and how much, and what trips are you going on. And now put it on social media, so that this separate person and this separate person can look at the other one and want that too. And it's just consumption, trying to make yourself feel better. But today, what you're going to notice is that, so this worked for a little bit, and it's not working anymore. The feeling of emptiness, there's got to be something more, like just making money is not making me happy. You can see all of the systems also that were based on exterior, all your value is exterior from you, everything that you do have and your worth that way is based on a capitalistic system. And you can see that those systems are starting to crumble. Like, you can see it now, like the markets are going to take a major hit, and all the companies that are built on greed and stuff, their time is coming. But that's what you're starting to feel, is that this isn't working, and I feel off and I don't know why. So here's the answer. If you're like, Jose, I understand what you're saying. I sort of get the concept. Maybe I sound a little bit crazy, but you're like, that makes a little bit of sense. But how do I get out of just this shell, and I am my things in my possession, and connecting back to this? The only way you can connect back to this field, back to consciousness, back to love, is through the heart. So your whole life you've been programmed here, what you do, and the intellect was king. And now we're moving, like that saying goes, the biggest journey you will ever take is from your head to your heart. This is where you're called to go into at this time. This is where you'll find who you truly are. Who you truly are is part of the universe. Who you really are is a piece of infinite source, a piece of God, a piece of everything. You're connected to everything. You have it inside. And this is where you can connect, is through the heart, through this connection. That's the only place you'll feel the oneness. And even if you didn't know this, I know you felt it, because If you're ever looking at the news or you're seeing something that's not fair, or somebody's being beaten, or somebody's being treated unfairly, or somebody, there's, like when you're putting on the news and you see war or starvation, and then a lot of things I could name in the world going on, and you're like, the reason you're sad, you don't feel good, and you're like, oh, it's just too much. It's because even though you didn't know it, it's affecting you because you're all connected. You're feeling the connection. And that's why everything feels so off when you're looking at that. So a good way is to now focus on the heart. And the heart operates in a very different way. It focuses on intuition. It focuses on knowing. It focuses on compassion. It focuses on a very different way of operating. I'm actually going to post a meditation that I did for global harmony in the description. You can find it there. Because in that one, in order to get to global harmony, what I'm doing is you're activating your heart center and your light and who you really are. Because there's not much I can say that you'll feel that connection right away. It's more of an experience. And once you experience that, I walk you through that guided meditation, you're going to feel what I'm talking about. And that feeling is so good, natural. It's like a warm light, and it's like a homecoming. It's nothing you have to learn, okay? You don't have to learn to be loving. You don't have to learn to have unity and harmony. This is a remembering of who you really are. It's actually very easy, because if you see the programming that you've been through and you do a couple of those meditations, they're very simple, like 15 minutes, you're going to notice that it doesn't feel like new information. You're just going to have to try it. It's going to feel like, oh man, this is what I was feeling. This is who I am. You can even cry because it's been decades of you're just feeling off because of all the programming that you went through where it never quite felt right. And then when you unify, then that feels like coming home. So when we're talking about remembering who you are, that's what we're talking about. Dropping more into a heart center. And it's not just where you're unifying and you're finding that we're all one and treating everybody with kindness. It's also following your heart in what you want to do. Never mind the salaries are here, the benefits are here, the retirement is there. Look what I'm doing, okay? Look, this looks like scribbles and nonsense, okay? This isn't a career path, but I just am called to help people understand what's really happening and what they're feeling and all the biggest lies they've been told, and it drives me crazy. So I want to make sure that I put information out. Is that an actual career path? Does it make any sense? Absolutely not. Or if you're baking, you put love into the things that you're doing. Even if you like, I'm really passionate about the law, you put love into that law. If you're cleaning houses, you're like, because I love helping families and cleaning houses and helping them. It's just a different way of operating. And when you're operating from the heart and you have joy, it's like your light shines from the center, and that light is contagious and can ignite other people. And when you're feeling like that, you don't have to be taught to be kind to people. When your light is ignited and you're functioning from love, you automatically have empathy, compassion. You're automatically feeling around you like if somebody drops something, you're going to go help them. If somebody can't pay for something in line, they're $10 short, you're going to pay for it. Because somebody told you and you have to memorize it? No, because that's your feeling. That's who you are. And it's just an easy way of living. And that's going to feel like home. That's going to feel good to you. And I wanted to mention something that's going to seem even crazier, but since we're here and we're already on the woo-woo train, I'm going to just let you know, when you've been doing this for a long time, this just started with me 15 years in, okay? I get it in little glimpses sometimes. It started when I would go in the forest, and then you feel the energy of the trees, forest, and the squirrels and birds and sun and whatever's there. And it takes a while, but you can then feel the oneness with it and the calmness and the frequency. And then sometimes it has happened to me where people have talked about this. And I never understood it until I experienced it. You can have a feeling where you can feel consciousness, energy, this field, okay, coming through you. But you can also feel it's the same thing coming through all of the people and the animals. And then I swear it's like, so they've got these eyes here, you've got these eyes, that's me in the forest. You can look at another animal who's like right there in front of you, and you can see that I'm the animal is me, so's the forest, and it's freaky. Sometimes it's just a split second where that's the reason I can explain this, because I've had just split seconds of understanding what this feels like, but then it goes away because I'm not tapped in. I don't live in a cave and life comes at me and I'm human, and so I get glimpses of these concepts and then I snap out. But just so you know that you can get to that level where you understand that everything is consciousness and that you're looking at another person, but basically it's the same energy looking back at you. So the universe or God has created through all of these people, animals, and all of that life, where it's essentially the same energy embodied in all of those things, looking back at itself. Super freaky, I know, but that's essentially what it is. And that is who you are. Why has this been blocked? Because people cannot control you. Companies, governments, nobody can control you. If you know that you are a part of God, a part of the universe, you are a part of the unified field. And when I say it's a piece of it, it's like a fractal piece or a hologram where within the piece of the thing is the whole thing, right? So it's not a piece in the piece and you need all the pieces to make the whole. Within that piece of who you are, you have the whole thing within you. And once you start operating from the heart and connecting to the field and connecting to everybody, and once you start putting that light into the planet and into other people, like that meditation I was talking about, that is way more powerful than the negative entities, corporations, governments that have an agenda to just keep you separate, keep you banging around and buying their crap. And so that you listen to them. And not only that, in the healthcare, it's like they make you sick with all their food and pharmaceuticals and stuff. And then they just sell you medications that make you sicker basically until you die. But let's not go there. Okay. So that's what they want you to do. And the manufactured consent through ads, news. News is not what is going on in the world. News is manufactured information for you to believe the agenda that they want you to believe. It is not news. If news actually reflected what was going on the planet, you would see these wonderful things from what people are doing day by day and helping and uplifting people, but that's never shown. Why is it never shown? Because that would ignite your heart. That would ignite the power within you. That would ignite your superpowers. And you can't be controlled. So if we're all superheroes on this planet, radiating this light, there's nothing to control, okay? So this is what I wanted to cover today. I know it sounds woo. I know it sounds a little bit crazy. And if you were just tuning in now, this looks like the worst drawing I've ever seen in my life. But I wanted to just put down very simply what you might be feeling and why you're feeling it, and the biggest lie that has ever been told to humanity, this separate from everything, and really show you who you are and empower you to know who you actually are. I'll add the meditation, which will really, really help you connect to the heart center, and I'll be making more meditations as well. I hope this was helpful. I hope this helped you realize who you really are. Thank you for watching. My name is Jose Lindsay. I much appreciate you being here. Namaste. Thank you.